Today on the Diz List, we're counting down the top 5 things that are new at Walt Disney World in the last year.
Welcome to the Diz List, a podcast that lists everything in Walt Disney World. I'm Nick.
And I'm Rob, and today we're going to count down the top 5 things that are new in Walt Disney World in the last year. Now, the last time I went was Christmas time. You were there last week, and which makes a perfect time to talk about our special guest that we have on the show.
Yes.
That is one of our longest listeners. Definitely,
Yes.
We know this for a fact.
Yeah.
She is also the host of Jessica Scraps on YouTube. But more importantly, she is the co-host of the Ear Scouts podcast. Jessica, welcome.
Thanks. I'm excited to be here. It's exciting to finally be in the room.
I know, it's
So
cool.
It's exciting.
We've hosted with you on Ear Scouts. So we have done, plus Craig, we did the show together, but it's great to finally have you on the show. I'm glad this worked out.
Yeah, I'm excited to make a list. I like lists. Yeah. It's right up my alley.
So
right up my alley. I make a lot of lists at home, so this is good.
Yeah. Clean this, do the dishes.
I didn't mention anything off mic on purpose because I want to roast Rob right now. You're drinking coffee out of what suspiciously does not look like you supported your own children.
No. But I can tell you why. My wife's favorite coffee, if she gets a choice, and nobody else says this, her favorite coffee is McDonald's coffee.
No, it's so acidic.
So I had to run out.
No, she's correct.
Yeah,
if I just want black coffee in the morning,
that's her.
I would prefer McDonald's to any of the other chains.
Jessica, you're a New England person. You have to say Dunkin'.
No, I'm not a New England. Remember, I ain't from around here. Yeah. I say y'all a lot. Yeah. I mean, I went to college in Georgia and I lived in Arkansas for a very long time. So not a New Englander by birth, just happened to live here now. But no, I agree with her. McDonald's is great.
Well, we were out of eggs and she said, I said, I'll go out and grab eggs. We got a puppy, so she's dealing with the puppy. So I said, I'll go get the eggs. And then if I'm picking up coffee, that's her number one place. And I get picked on your podcast because I'm smack talking Joffrey's all the time.
That's why I brought it up.
Yeah, I don't really have a huge problem with it. I don't dislike Joffrey's. Everybody just has their coffee that they prefer. If I'm making a top 5 coffee list, Joffrey's is actually on it. And I would probably put it higher than Starbucks, I think. But like Dunkin', both of my kids work at Dunkin' Donuts. So like I'm so accustomed to Dunkin' Donuts, that would be my top for coffee, but this is not a coffee show. It's
not
a
a coffee
Disney
show.
So Nick got to rip on me a little bit, but
McDonald's coffee
There's nothing wrong with McDonald's.
Favorite.
I do drink Joffrey's at home, but I don't drink. There's not a Joffrey's around here.
Yeah. Tim Hortons for the win, personally, but that's the Canadian.
Is there a Tim Hortons?
Canadian. There's not a Tim Hortons anywhere near me.
Yeah, no, you're not going to get one much further south than maybe Syracuse. So today, when we're talking about this list, one thing I would like to point out is that we purposely left some stuff off that people might be like, wait, that's new. But it falls outside the window of what we're considering new because it didn't happen within the last year. And one of those things is Geo 82. And the reason I want to bring up that we left it off the list is because had it been on the list, it would have changed my list because it was a phenomenal experience. That said, Epcot was a hot mess when I was there. The fact that Geo 82 didn't even open with its original opening time, so they said, "Oh, we can't honor your reservation." I was like, "You better." And then also like Spaceship Earth was awful. Like it was like a 45-minute attempt to get through the entire ride. It stopped so many times. Test Track was a hot mess the entire time we were there.
Test Track was not open almost the whole time we were there.
Wow.
And then
those
the
are
other
storms,
ride,
though, right?
Yeah,
Storms,
but the other ride that we don't talk about a lot is the Nemo ride. The Nemo ride right now, I think, takes as long as Spaceship Earth to get through because it's stopping so much. And it's unfortunate because that ride does have a few situations with the shark, and a little kid got stopped right next to the shark. And I felt so bad for that mother. And it's a silly ride. It's a fun ride, whatever. But that little kid did not enjoy being stopped next to that shark popping out at him
Poor
over
kid.
and over again.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you could do. We were just stuck. We've been stuck on that ride lately more. In fact, it's sad. Epcot needs some real help on some of their crucial attractions, I think.
I'll go
But I
one.
will agree with you that GO82 would have been my number one but I have only been to GO82 like at the end of a park day.
Yeah.
I have never actually tried to go earlier like you did, so I don't know that I've ever experienced a delay, but
we wanted to do lunch because with kids and stuff, we weren't sure how long we were going to last. And it was easier. They still liked each other at that point in the day. So it was easier for us to be like, hey, guys, you go off and do your thing. Like, they're old enough. We trust them to go and do their thing. And they did. They went off. They actually did Nemo. They did the, what did they watch? They went and watched the short film festival. So they did stuff that they enjoy doing. But we had wanted to do an earlier day thing just because of that reason. I can see where in the evening it'd be good. I can tell you one thing I wouldn't do. I would not waste money on the fireworks experience there. I don't see how that view could possibly be good. And I can only see
it's
about...
amazing.
Really?
Just FYI. I will agree with you. Do not spend money on the fireworks experience there, but do get your reservation between 8 and 9 p.m. and just sit. You can just sit one table back from the glass. I've done it now 3 times, twice with my mom. My mom said it was the best way to watch Luminous. It is.
Where
you
is
see
this?
the fireworks.
It's on the backside of Spaceship
It's on the
Earth.
backside of Spaceship Earth. So you see
Okay.
all the fireworks.
Yep.
You do not see any of the fire display laser stuff in the water, but you see all the fireworks. They pipe in the music. And you get this, it's kind of a more traditional fireworks experience. You don't have to pay for the fireworks experience package, which is like a bottle of wine and then like a charcuterie tray. You can just make your reservation there. It's my number one. It's like if GO82 is my number one, that's my number one plus. I loved it.
I will say, I watched a video last night about the Epcot fireworks via the boat, so like the boat tour or whatever. That is something that now is on my list, my short list of things we're gonna have to add as a splurge next trip. Those of you who follow along because maybe you're a patron or maybe you saw on Instagram, I did do the Caring for the Giants this time.
Yeah,
that was fun. So tune into our Patreon show. We'll be talking about that. I'll tell you where it falls compared to the rhinos. So
we did dinner last night with some friends. So there's a group of Disney adults called the Disney Day Drinkers.
Yes. Yep.
And I started with another woman, the Connecticut chapter.
Okay.
So we have a Connecticut chapter of Disney Day Drinkers. So it's a bunch of people that are from Disney, whatever. And we got together yesterday at a winery, and the friends we were with had just done that Epcot fireworks. He had gotten it to her for anniversary or something.
Cool.
And she said it was amazing, but you're tied together.
Yes. Yep.
So
four boats
people next to you can make or break your experience.
Yes.
So she'll just say that's a hit or miss of that experience.
Yeah. Rob, did you have any news that happened this week that you wanted to discuss before we head off to the halftime show?
I do. And it falls in the realm of something we always end up talking about. And we go, well, we can't be talking about sports all the time. But there was this. So I had no idea this was even going to happen. So there was this thing called Fanatics Fest. So Fanatics is a company. Nick doesn't necessarily love them.
No, I hate them. Fanatics is awful. It's awful.
I don't even know really all the details of what this was, but they had some festival thing. I know it had to do with cards because I saw there was Jason Sudeikis. I saw a video of him walking around buying cards. Anyway, but they had different players from different NFL teams come out on stage. So people who are not Bills fans, there's a lineman on the Bills named Deion Dawkins. He's like the most happy-go-lucky, outgoing, great guy. So Deion Dawkins comes out on stage. And I'm with Roger Goodell, who's the head of the whole NFL. This is Disney related. Trust me. I'm getting to it. I'm getting to it. It's actually really cool, Disney related. So he comes out on stage and, it's part of my feed because Buffalo Bills is always coming up. This is also Patriots related, Jessica. I know you like your Patriots. So Deion Dawkins comes out stage and these NFL teams are doing a draft and they're choosing Disney characters to represent their team for this line of, t-shirts and sweatshirts. So Dion comes out on stage again. Keep in mind, it's the Buffalo Bills, and the Buffalo Bills select the Beast from Beauty and the Beast. So like not each team, they only have a handful of them that have been done, but every team selects a character that is kind of related to, and there's one that's really weird. I'm going to go through them quickly here.
Oh, wait, no, this was weird. You don't think the Beast was weird?
No, the Beast I can handle because it's similar
to
a
buffalo.
Guy.
Hold on. You had a guy whose nickname is the Snowman. And he didn't pick Olaf?
True. Yeah.
Come on.
No, I was thinking of like the Buffalo as a character. I'm thinking more team than individual player. If you're thinking individual player, you could be like, well, Josh Allen isn't the Beast. He's the hunk on the inside, right? Anyway, Cowboys is a no-brainer. They did Woody from Toy Story. Makes sense. The Las Vegas Raiders did Darth Vader as their choice. The Patriots appropriately chose Captain America, so they brought in a little bit of Marvel there. So there's some Star Wars, there's some Marvel. The New York Giants chose Wreck-It Ralph, who's kind of a giant. That
didn't make any sense at all to me.
Kind of a giant. I mean, they could have done the giant from the Mickey and the Beanstalk, but whatever. The New York Jets did Buzz Lightyear because, he can kind of fly around and has wings. This one is the most appropriate, is Tampa Bay Buccaneers have Captain Hook. Obviously, they have that pirate theme. And this one, I don't get. And I'm not trying to get political in any way here, but Washington Commanders is a pig. It's Ham from Toy Story.
No, because they're okay.
Is it a pig skin?
Yes, let's go. They're throwing it back to skins. I guarantee you.
Gotcha.
Okay. I guarantee you. They're throwing it back to skins.
So pig skin. Okay, that's a good place to land on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not a good place to land because they're saying you're going to skin Ham and make him into a ball. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's true.
I just don't think that was appropriate in any way, shape, or form. But let's just avoid that topic.
But that's the only teams that they did, and then there's none of the other teams had a reveal. I mean, there's Chicago Bears is that's a layup with, you could do Baloo or you could do Little John on my shirt here. I mean, there's so many.
Or the Brother
Detroit
Bears.
Lions. Come on. Detroit Lions is so many different options. Anyway,
Simba.
Anyway, moving on here. That I thought was kind of cool, but also really confusing because I didn't know what was going to happen and why didn't they do all the teams? So listeners, if you have this information, please send it to us. I'm curious why this was only a couple teams that were done. So that was really, there's been little goofy news bits, but no pun intended. But this is something I thought was kind of cool and sports adjacent, which we like here. Yeah.
I mean, it could have been like a contract thing too with teams with Disney, or, maybe teams that have
some
ABC
teams have
affiliates.
ESPN contracts and some don't, or is that all the NFL?
It's the whole NFL, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just didn't know what that situation was, but
yeah.
Did y'all hear the news about the cruise ships maybe coming back to New York?
Yes. Yeah, I heard that.
Did you talk about that already?
Nope.
No.
Is that exciting to y'all or not? It's exciting to us.
So here's why it's not exciting for me. When you cruise out of New York, that's like a whole extra cruise day, at sea. And for me, it's about the destinations and the ports more so than it is about the cruise ship. We're looking heavily into an Alaskan cruise. And because we are so much about the destinations, not about the trip itself and about the ship, we're looking at a one-way cruise with a post, a land tour, either pre or post. So you can do that. Probably won't be through Disney because maybe it's not a hot take. Disney is the most overpriced cruise line there is.
Oh, yeah.
It's outrageous. If you shop around, especially for kids my kids' age, I get it if you're talking about little kids, maybe Disney's worth it. But Royal Caribbean is probably the one to go to for kids my kids' age. Even Norwegian and stuff has some good stuff for kids my kids' age, and I could get the full blown the drink package and the premium dining package and still pay less with a veranda, still pay less than an inside room on a Disney cruise. So that's just my feeling.
Yeah, we haven't done a Disney cruise yet. We're going to go on the Ear Scouts one in February. We're going to do that one. It'll be our first Disney cruise. But we used to love to cruise out of New York because for us, it's a 2-hour drive. You go, and I'm not a get off the ship person. I'm the exact opposite of you. I'm going on a cruise because it's the one place I cannot have internet and I can actually not check work and I can read a book or play board games. I mean, we'll do that kind of stuff on the ship and no one can find me.
Right.
And I mean, that's a big, in my job, it's actually the one place I've ever been where I could guaranteed get a solid 4 vacation days in a row.
Nice.
So
Right.
it was
Yeah.
nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, I was scolded at Disney this week, so I had to turn off my notifications from my work email.
Mm.
Like I had the automatic like reply, but my wife was like, "Yeah, no, you're turning that off."
John scolds me every time. I've taken
So-
more work calls and lines at Disney than probably I should talk about. So I've done interviews with people in Disney. So
That's
with ears
wild.
on.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
That's
Nothing
great.
wrong with that.
They got to know what they're getting into.
That's right.
So we're going to head off to the halftime, which of course is brought to you by our sponsors. Check them out. And also, of course, it's also brought to you by our wonderful patrons over on patreon.com/DizListPod. We're going to head off to the halftime show. We'll see you right after the break. All right. Before we jump into today's list, we've got to talk about how you can actually do all this stuff we keep ranking.
Yeah, because dreaming about deluxe resorts is fun, but paying for them is slightly less fun.
That's where our friends over at DVC Rental Store come in.
If you ever wanted to stay at places like Polynesian, Boardwalk, Animal Kingdom Lodge, this is the move.
You can rent DVC points and stay in these deluxe villas for way less than booking direct through Disney.
We're talking bigger rooms, better locations, and yeah, some serious saving money.
So if you've ever said, we'll stay deluxe someday, that someday should probably be your next trip.
I feel like I say that every time. And once you've gotten that dream resort locked in, you might want to figure out, what are we actually doing all week?
Enter Be Our Guest Vacations.
So these are real Disney experts. Well, so are we, but they are too. But they'll plan your trip for you, dining, lightning lane strategies, park plans, all of it. Listen to our show, but these guys know what they're doing too.
Best part, it doesn't cost you anything extra to use them.
Which means less stress, fewer mistakes, and more time arguing about ride rankings like we do.
And finally, let's talk tickets.
Because Disney and Universal tickets are not getting cheaper anytime soon.
That's why we recommend and use Unlock Magic.
They offer discounted tickets to both Disney and Universal parks, so you can save money before you even walk in the gates.
Which means more budget, for snacks.
Well, or lightning lanes,
or just, like another trip.
So if you're planning a vacation, check out DVC Rental Store, Be Our Guest Vacations, and Unlock Magic.
We've got links in the description. Go support the sponsors that help support the show.
And now back to the list.
Welcome back. So this half of the show, we're going to talk about our top 5 reasons or top 5 things, I should say, for the new things in the last year. We said already GO82 is not eligible. Cool Kids Summer is also not eligible because that was kind of debuted last summer. We have a lot of things that are eligible. There's a lot of new things. When people say to me, why do you keep going back to Disney? It's the same thing over and over again. Like if you looked at the list that Jessica and I came up with, or Jessica came up with it and sent it to us, and I was like, yep, that's what I had too. It is a lot. There are a lot of things. Like there's, what was there, like 17 things, I think, on your list? It was a lot. I mean,
Yeah, I didn't
there's
count it,
enough that doing a top 5 is you're not
difficult.
just picking. Yeah, it's a little bit harder than you think.
So I've done a couple of them and I will chime in, but this list is going to mainly consist of Nick and Jessica because they've been there in the last month or so. Again, I was there Christmas time, so when it's time for me to chime in, I will. But since I'm not doing an official list and Jessica's taking my spot, Jessica, you are going to play the role of me and you're going to get to go first. So you are going to start with your number 5, and then after that, we'll hand it off to Nick. So number 5, Jessica, you can begin when you're ready.
So my number 5 is the update to the Remy's ride in Epcot, and that is to make it 2D. So I am one of those people that wear glasses.
Mm-hmm.
I also have glasses because I have a pretty bad astigmatism. So 3D glasses really make me motion sick. I used to ride Remy's without the glasses. I do Toy Story Mania without the glasses. I do a lot of the 3D things without the glasses so I don't get motion sick. Flight of Passage, sometimes I will either close my eyes or have to take the glasses off. So that change allowed me to enjoy that ride more. Also, it made me look around and not at the screens more. And there's
Good
so
point.
much
Yes.
in that ride that is real animatronics, real moving parts, real set pieces that I didn't notice. I'm sure they were still there. I didn't notice when I had those 3D glasses on. So for me, that's my number 5. I think it was a really, really smart change that Disney made. It makes that ride re-rideable for me and much more enjoyable.
I'd say that
Nick, you
so it's
just
not
did
on
it.
my it's not on my list. I will say I think it's better, definitely better without the 3D. I too, even though I don't wear glasses on the show, I have very bad eyesight. Like I'm like -8. And I also have a very bad astigmatism. And so like the 3D glasses, even with contacts, do affect me. It almost makes my eyes very tired anyway.
Mhm.
And so I almost like when I'm watching Filler Magic, I almost fall asleep. And not because I'm tired, just because like it just does something to me. I would say I agree with you wholeheartedly that it frees you up to kind of look around because you're not looking through those glasses. I always had anyway, but like now I felt like I wasn't looking through these weird glasses to see the wheels turning when you're under the cart or like
Mhm.
look all of those little things. I was shocked at how 3D it still appeared, even though the glasses weren't there. But yeah, it didn't make my list, but it's an honorable mention. Rob, you did it. What do you think?
Yeah, my 2 cents is it doesn't need it. I mean,
Mhm.
when
I agree.
it depends on the attraction. And I don't want to go through every single thing and talk about 3D or not 3D. We could do that on a different episode. But I just don't think it needs it because you're right. Let's take, here's a good comparison here. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Okay, it
Mhm.
has a similar thing where you kind of shoot into the little areas and
Yep.
you really feel like, or like the part where you feel like you're falling down
Going down
in that,
yeah.
not in Mickey and Minnie, but in Ratatouille, you're like
Yeah.
falling. But I don't I feel like the same way with or without the glasses. Not having those glasses, I feel so freed because I have the exact same thing. Wear glasses, stigmatism. I don't know, but and I'm curious this too. I thought of this while you were talking. Have you ever tried them in front of your glasses and then you're like, dang
No.
it, this isn't working. And then you put the other glasses first and then your regular glasses over top. Spoiler, both suck.
Now, I'm going to say the good thing about having glasses is those other glasses never touch my face. I'm
Mhm.
not sure I would have taken those glasses and
I
stuck
don't
them
care.
on my face. I know.
Yeah.
I just rub hand sanitizer over my
Is it-
eyes. Oh, I do it all the time.
My number 5 is going to absolutely shock Rob, I think, and probably shock Jessica that it's this low on my list.
Oh my gosh, does it have to do with your shirt?
It does not
Oh,
have to
okay,
do with my
okay.
shirt. Number 5 for me was Rock and Roller Coaster. So
Wow. Okay,
so
I am
listen,
shocked.
hear me out.
Wow.
It's for a very picky reason. Okay, the overlay's great. The scooter animatronic, awesome. The goofy signs inside that always didn't make sense now kind of makes sense that it's like because it's with
With a
the
comedic
Muppets, so
thing instead of
the shtick is
Aerosmith.
it makes more sense, right?
Yeah.
It took a solid 15 to 20 seconds for me to figure out what song we were on because they don't play it loud enough. I mean, and that's so if it's not loud enough for me, I can only imagine how bad it's gonna be for Rob. This is not like
Jesus,
it's not
I
like
know.
Cosmic Rewind where you know instantly
Yeah.
what song this is.
I have
So
terrible
that was
hearing.
an issue for me. I didn't like that. So that's why it drops down to 5. That and 2 of my favorite characters from the Muppets are Statler and Waldorf. And like you hear them when you come to the end, and then they push you right by them. You see them for like 5 seconds. So, you know, I think that 2 things. You needed them to be more prominent at the end, that you actually got to like park in front of them and see them and listen to them, as opposed to just going by them when you're going into the station to offload. And the music needed to be louder. That said, it was very well done. We got Born to Be Wild. I think that was great. I think it was we could have done it again. We chose not to. We wanted to get all the rides done in the park. It was pretty much a walk on because we did it during the after hours event. The queue was great. I loved the posters in the queue. The scooter animatronic, like you would swear, because of the way they programmed that animatronic, you would swear it's a puppeteer. It's great.
It's cool. That's the whole point.
So I mean, it was good. It was very good, but it's not going to rise above 5 for me just because the other things were that great. And I went into this expecting that was going to be my number 1. So, I mean, that tells you how
So
good
I
the
am
other stuff is.
purposely not discussing this right now.
Okay,
Okay.
understood.
All right. No problem.
Yeah.
So then
I
you
will
can
say
go ahead
this. Then
Yeah.
let me do my rebuttal here.
Yeah.
I haven't done it yet either, but as you were talking, I have not. I'm familiar with the end of the ride and how the end of the ride works there. And if you kind of go around that corner, if you can hear Statler and Waldorf, I feel like a quick fix for that, if they wanted to, would be to have like a pre-recorded video where it's almost like the camera's on them and you have a screen, and then all of a sudden you turn the corner and then there they are. Would that solve the problem possibly?
I think the problem is
No?
that the animatronics are in the wrong spot.
Okay.
In my opinion, that's just that. Look, other people are going to say no. I just like to see them quickly. Fine, but they're like two of my favorites, and I felt like that was kind of a shortcoming of the ride.
Okay.
But it's a great overlay. I mean, it made the top 5. So, but Jessica, that brings us to your number 4.
So my number 4 may surprise y'all for the same reason that number 5 surprised us. Smuggler's Run. The update of Smuggler's Run. I walked into that thinking this would be one of my tops. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the new videos. I enjoyed the change to the engineer having something to do, Grogu mode. A couple things I kept it at number 4 is it's the same ride. It still is very dependent on your pilots. Your experience is very dependent on your pilots. I wish they had some sort of 2 small kids are piloting this mode that they could flip on that would make it less nauseating. And I'm not the only one that says that, but everybody wants their kids to pilot. It is a big deal. Let your kids pilot.
No, yeah, I let my kids pilot.
Right.
I mean,
but
they did a decent job.
Yeah.
But like,
but the younger the child, the more John and I know it's going to be a bumpy ride. And I wish they had changed that a little bit in this, like had an override that the cast members could switch that said, hey, an easy mode for the pilots. That would change this whole ride for me. And it wasn't enough different to make that overlay bump it up on my list above 4. But I will say I'm excited that they're giving it more rewritability, because I do think it got to the point where people weren't riding it. The wait time was really low for a while. And when we were there this last time, the wait times were much higher. So
It's a good thing and a bad thing.
It's a good thing and a bad thing. I mean, I like to see it actually be ridden, because I do like the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, all of that stuff. So that's where it fell for me, was number 4. It's still a ride I will try to ride every time. I just wish they had done just a little bit more with that overlay.
I feel like it would be easier to do a button that's autopilot mode or Star Tours mode, where you just hit it, and then kids who want to be the pilot,
then they still think they're piloting.
It can look like it moves, but then technically it's still moving straight forward.
Look, it does not even have to be that extreme. I play video games, and I will tell you right now that like one of the games I enjoy playing is Forza. Okay, so that's a racing game. You can do it on an advanced mode where you can go off the rails, you can go off the track. But you can also do entry level early mode where you are still steering it. You're choosing where on the pathway you are,
but you don't go off the path.
But you're not going off the path.
Yeah.
And they could easily have those rails. And I'm going to go out. I'm going to even say this. It shouldn't even be like a young pilot, old pilot. It should be all pilots can choose where they're going.
Yes.
But they're not going to run into a wall. They're not going to like just make it so everybody can enjoy it, because not everybody, like, my kids did a decent job. My daughter was in charge of up and down. Some was left and right, and they communicated well enough that they weren't, there was a couple bumps, but it wasn't horrible. But like Rob was sick. We rode that one with Rob with Ear Scouts Rob. So we rode it together, and he said that in one of them, one of the choices you can take, if you go off a different path, you end up going through the cantina. Whereas, so he's like, you end up in the canteen. He's like, I don't even know how we ended up there. He's like, I've done that one multiple times, but the pilots turned right and we ended up in the going through the cantina.
That's funny.
And like, so those kinds of things, like, you need to make it more, okay, they get to choose in their sandbox type world. That's like a video game term, but like in the sandbox world that is this screened, adventure, make it so they can't go and hurt the ship. You know what I mean? It does not make my list for that fact. It wasn't good enough of a it wasn't big enough of it's still a video game, right? I'm still there for the queue, right? It's still a video game.
I know. You and I flipped when we got our picture taken there in the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah. And they make it so you can't even do that really anymore. So you can't really get your picture done sitting at the table, but it is what it is.
All right. What's your number 4?
My number 4 is going to anger at least one person on this podcast right now. My number 4 is Zootopia Better Together. It was super cute. Super cute. The fact that it makes my list tells me should tell you I enjoyed it.
I'm waiting for the but.
No, but the 3 things that are above it are better. That's all I'm going to say. Better Zootopia. Look, It's super cute. The animatronic is awesome. The fact that they still use the little like the seat back punchy thing, you know what I mean? Like they didn't do away with that. The fact that they really have a story that I was like, how is this going to work? Like, how is this going to work in Animal Kingdom? I felt like it did. I don't feel like it was odd. I don't feel like the story was like shoehorned in any way. It was cute. It was great. It's wonderful for kids. I will do it probably every trip because it is something that, as far as an IP, I like the IP. The Clawhauser animatronics, great. It's cute, but it just doesn't raise that number 3 or 3 and higher for me. And you'll see what my 3 and higher are. And maybe that'll tell you why. But I like it a lot. Just that's as high as it's going to go. And I'm not going to talk too much about it because I'm suspecting that we might talk about it later.
Is it still 3D? Is it still 3D?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And that one I didn't feel, I could be wrong. I didn't personally feel like that one made my eyes as tired as normal. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because the screen isn't all encompassing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
you're just sitting there. I don't know.
Yeah, but I'm just sitting in PhilharMagic
too.
But
There's
PhilharMagic goes wider,
screen.
I think.
Yeah. When they made that PhilharMagic
Peripheral.
all the way around, I think that did something to it.
Yeah.
The update of PhilharMagic makes me more nauseous than the original PhilharMagic did.
Yeah. I'm with you. So like, because I didn't notice it being like as nauseating as like the PhilharMagic does, because PhilharMagic gives me some issues. But anyhow, so that's my number 4. Let's move on to your number 3, because I'm sure you're going to talk about what I just talked about soon or a little bit later. Go ahead.
So my number 3 is Rock and Roller Coaster, the overlay of Rock and Roller Coaster. That it's a little bit higher on my list. The reason it's a little bit higher on my list is I really did not like Aerosmith.
Yeah.
And that's hot take. Maybe it's not a hot take on this podcast.
It's not a hot take.
Because you've heard our show. You know I don't like Aerosmith.
Not a hot take on this podcast. But there was a lot of reasons that I didn't like Aerosmith that have nothing even to do with their music. And I just
Also true, right?
Yes, it had nothing to do with their music.
We agree with that also.
But I also never thought the Rock and Roller Coaster made sense to me. Like I didn't like the idea that going on the limo. I just backstage. It never hit with me, even when I did it. So this last time, and John cannot ride Rock and Roller Coaster. It's one of those he cannot ride. So I wrote it, but he was able to come in the queue with me, and he just wanted to say when I showed him my list that even for somebody that can't ride the ride, that queue was worth the walking through the queue. That he enjoyed the posters, he enjoyed the scooter animatronic, he enjoyed that show, all of that, and the gift shop. It was such a huge improvement, particularly if you're a Muppets fan, which we're huge Muppets fans. I think it's a really smart way to use the Muppets in the parks. It makes them more, I'm going to say, cool for kids.
Exciting, absolutely.
Puts them on a roller coaster, kind of lowers the age of people that might think they want to be with the Muppets. I think it's a really smart way to do a gateway drug into a Muppets land, because you get a rock and roller coaster, get the kids excited about the Muppets, and then you put Muppets 3D back, in there. It was a really smart move, I think, by Disney. And by y'all to tell Disney they should do that. I did hear that originally. But I got Rock and Roller Coaster. I got a roller coaster as the song, Jennifer Hudson. And I didn't have a problem with hearing it. We heard it right on the kickoff. So, and I was with another young girl who was pretty nervous about the ride. And the song comes on and it's just so exciting and so joyful. And I will say, all of the neon signs and all of the street signs in that make sense. They're funny.
Yep.
They keep you entertained. It was great. I knew I was going to go upside down. I kind of had forgotten I was going to go upside down until I was upside down, but it was amazing. I was the best time. So for me, it's number 3. It's a little bit higher than yours on the list. It really is. And I ranked it based on the improvement. That's why it's above Millennium Falcon.
Mm-hmm.
I will ride Smuggler's Run more often than I will ride Rock and Roller Coaster, just because John can't ride it with me.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think the improvement to Rock and Roller Coaster is better than the improvement to the Smuggler's Run.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this: the fact you called it a gateway is a good call. My daughter does not like a lot of roller coasters that are like, for instance, she doesn't like Slinky Dog that much because it goes that whole up and down part. She doesn't like that, but she's fine with Rock and Roller Coaster, which is wild to me. But she loved it
because it's in the dark, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a great, and I didn't even think about the fact you mentioned it briefly, but the gift shop is amazing. It's probably one thing I noticed on this particular trip, that there were only 2 gift shops at the ends of rides that I felt were truly themed to the ride properly. One was Pirates, which has always got the the pirate stuff, and this one, like, if you wanted something Muppets, there was an entire rack of nothing but Muppets pins, and like, my son was going through like, okay, I want this one. I got this one. And like, they had these cool, like, Rock and Roller Coaster with the Muppets. It's a drumstick and guitar pick combo thing. That's a kind of a cool gift set. So look, I personally, I get why somebody would put it up higher, but I have some really good ones up higher. Like my number 3, which I don't feel is going to be long for this world. Actually, I think that it's not going to be there much longer, even though it's new, because I think it's going to move. And that is that my number 3 is the Villains Show, which I think is going to be turned back into a Muppets show, because I do think that's the new Muppets Courtyard. And I think the Villains Show is going to be moving over to Villains Land, and it better move, because oh my goodness, that show is remarkably well done. The live action actors do an amazing job. The fact that it's re-rideable, so to speak, if you want to call it a ride, but redoable, because you don't know what you're going to get as far as who's going to be the champion. The use of the screens there is actually welcomed. Like, they used it to help make the effects make sense. Hades pops up. I get why you might not want to have Hades be out on the stage, because you can't do all the cool effects. But if he's on screen,
it works.
Now Hades it works.
Yeah.
Musically, it was great. The crowd involvement, like, I have not been in a show at Disney that was that involved in a long time. People were getting into it, and you really bought into it. Like, my kids bought into, like, okay, who am I going to vote for? I'm voting for this. And it's probably predetermined. I mean, it's probably on a loop of like, now it's your turn, now it's your turn, whatever. But like, people got into it, and it was fun. I left wishing it was longer. Like, when a show does that, and I didn't feel cheap, like, I didn't feel like it was cheapened, like that I didn't get enough. I was just like, I could have sat there for another 20 minutes. Like, it was that good. Like,
they could have had 2 more villains come out. I feel like 5 would have worked.
Right. And not that I felt like they underdid it. I'm just saying it's that good that I feel like it could have kept going. So my number 3 is the Villains Show. I think it's a remarkably well done show. We got Captain Hook was the villain that won during ours. I was not voting for Captain Hook. I was a Team Cruella, but that's okay.
So I'm going to just do a spoiler alert, but this is on my things I felt fell flat.
Okay.
Well, I can't wait.
Yeah. So the Villain Show. Did you only see it the one time?
I did.
First time I saw it, I was kind of, oh my gosh, this was new technology, new screens, the way they did it, great. It was kind of overwhelming. Second time I saw it, I was like, okay, I see how they did that. It's just a bunch of screens. There's 3 actors. Cruella's bit doesn't really make sense. Are we still saying it's okay to kill puppies? I'm like, it's weird. Third time I saw it, I was like, oh, I see everything coming. I'm watching all of this. I know what's coming. I know where the screens are going to pop out. They pre-do it. Hades is the best part of that show
Mhm.
in a lot of ways. And your cast member determines the quality of those performances in a lot
Sure.
of ways.
Yeah.
Because when we saw it, 2 of the times I saw it, Hook has been great. One time, and I'll say this for Rob's point of view, there was not a note that was found. There was not a note that was found in that performance.
I would have
And
driven me nuts.
and he knew it. Like, you could tell he was trying to, you could feel that he was trying to get back to where he needed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And
Could've
there's
been-
just,
that could have been a number of things though. It could be the monitor failed.
yeah,
It could have been.
it could have been a lot of things,
Yeah.
right? It probably wasn't his fault, but it definitely changed the performance. So the more times I've seen it, the less I've liked it. I'll just say it that way.
Okay.
So for
Okay.
me, what I thought was going to be this great redoable thing, it has ended up, it was really good the first time. And
Okay.
now I don't know that I need to go back that often. So
Okay.
Okay.
that's why for me, it fell on the things that kind of fell flat
All right.
list.
Okay. All right. So then how about getting back to things that didn't fall flat? What's your number 2?
So my number 2 is kind of a small thing, but I think it makes a huge difference. And that is the new updated animation courtyard in Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
So it is a new, and I went before they've opened. They're going to open in September, the actual animation experience.
September 19th, I believe, right?
Yeah. I see it was 19th, 16th, something like that. But
Mhm.
the outdoor play area and that they have now, that they've mimicked after the Burbank Studios that we did a tour of back in September of last year, it is a really fun place for kids. They're doing a lot of interactive play. They've got a lot of cute little nods and touches. And I think that is such a smart use of that space. That space was completely underutilized. It is a big blank space in Hollywood Studios that should have had something, and now it does. I hope they keep up having some characters out there, even when they open the animation experience, and they don't just throw it to the wolves. But it's got some shade. It has the cute little, Pluto sign, Pluto's place with the fire hydrant, all kinds of cool things. And I just really think that's a smart addition. And I'll just do a honorable mention to Cool Kids Summer, which is all the characters, which I think are part of that. Cool Kids Summer to me would have been my number 2 if we had used it on the list, because Cool Kids Summer and the fact that they've added all these characters around, it's in the mornings, early entry at the resorts. It's been really fun to see more of a Disneyland version of characters in the parks that they've done for Cool Kids Summer. I think that's just been great. So
Yeah.
that's my number 2.
Yeah. I would concur with the characters being around. There were a lot more walkarounds, and that was nice to see. The animation courtyard fell a little flat for me because of it was, first of all, when we got there, there were no characters going around anywhere. Wow. There was nothing. Now that was at 4:30, I think we got there when we were in that area. So it was hot, and maybe that time of the day, they didn't want anybody out. I also thought that, like, in pictures, the whole glistening sorcerer's hat looks great. In person, there's like 5 LED bulbs. And I was like, what is this? Like,
We never saw it at night.
Yeah, it was not as spectacular as like the Disney release photos made it look. And the reason I didn't rate it any high, I want to go inside. When it opens, I feel like then I can give it a full blown, like, okay, this is where it belongs. My number 2 is, I can't believe I'm saying this because I didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal, but it was remarkably well done. And that is Space Ranger Spin is so much better now. It was a wildly successful improvement. I would have told you it's not that big of a deal. You can pick up your gun. You can see your laser pointer. You know if you're hitting it in the right spot. You see that you're not hitting right on the center spot, which is kind of annoying. I think they should be a little bit, those middles should be a little bit bigger. You can move your laser pointer and get that. Like, it was so much more fun. I felt like it was just a lot more competitive. Like, because like you could see like you got the feedback in the gun itself, and then the targets themselves would light up. Oh, you just hit it and you're holding the green gun, so now it's green. Your teammate or whatever, your opponent hit it, now it's red. But now it's flashing with white, and so that's a double point one. You hit that one, it's double points. It was I thought it was gonna fall flat for me. And the reason that I rank it so highly, I think, is because I was so pleasantly surprised. We rode it twice. 2 times, maybe 3. I can't remember. But it was remarkable every time we rode it. It was fun. We had it was just a good all around family pleasing ride. It is what that ride should have been. It is I would have told you before, go ahead, just move it out. It doesn't need to be there because we already have Midway Mania and Toy Story Land's over there. We don't need to have Toy Story 2 spots. This is a plussed up version. I think it's a tell of what is coming, because we've already talked about the fact that, we've in the past talked about how Tomorrowland is Yesterdayland. There's rumors about Space Mountain getting an update. We know they're updating Carousel. I think that this update was the first of many dominoes to fall. It is remarkably well done, in my opinion. So
it's on my honorable mention.
Buzz Lightyear is number 2. So for me, but I always liked the original ride, but this was like, I can't believe how much better it is. So, yep. That brings us to the big dogs. Number one.
What's number one?
So I think it will surprise nobody what my number 1 is, and that is the addition of Zootopia into the Walt Disney World parks. And I'm using that generically, which is, I think having Nick and Judy as a meet and greet. One of the big reasons why for my 50th birthday, I made John take me to Disneyland is because I could meet and greet with Nick and Judy in Disneyland because they were there. The fact that we hadn't had Nick and Judy in the parks before this it's just unbelievable to me. But the addition of Zootopia, which is one of the strongest IPs, and you can say that without the fact that I love it. The fact that we didn't have it just seems a little odd. We were pushing a lot of princesses, and we're not pushing actual strong female characters who are talking about friendship and, diversity and all of those things, which I think is a great story.
Yes,
I was very excited to see Zootopia in the parks. The overlay of It's a Bug's Life, I agree with everything that Nick said. I think it's great that they still used some of the props from the seats. I also think it's great they took the spiders out. I remember so many times having people have to leave the show because it was too scary for their kids.
Every time.
And the fact that they've made a large, air-conditioned, people mover space more kid-friendly is what Animal Kingdom needed.
Yes.
Animal Kingdom needed kid-friendly people eaters because they just don't have them. And this added that back in. And I just think it's great. So for me, that's my number 1 for reasons beyond the fact that Zootopia is my favorite franchise and IP.
I mean, that could be your reason. I mean, that's 100%. I think Zootopia is definitely way underused. I was not sure it fit into Animal Kingdom, even though they are animals, only because of like what the whole messaging of Joe Rohde had originally been. I didn't think Bugs Life fit either, but like that's a whole other thing. I think this fits better than Bugs, to be honest with you. And so, I'm with you. It definitely is something. The meet and greet is something I didn't even think about. But yeah, having that there is super important too. I will say, just because you made a comment about, strong female characters and the pushing of princesses, why? Like, whatever happened to Merida? Like that. She's my favorite princess because she is the strong. I mean, she is the strong female character that I thought we were going to finally get princesses to be like that. And now, like, they took away her meet and greet. Now that's Encanto. Oh gosh, whatever her name. Mirabelle, yeah, who is a great character. Don't get me wrong, but like also not necessarily the same kind of messaging, right? It's
or Vanellope from Wreck-It Ralph. Yeah. They've taken away Vanellope.
Yeah,
I mean,
those are two characters that were strong and like different than the princesses in the past who relied on Prince Charming.
They didn't have a love story. You know what I mean?
Right.
No love story. Now, Mirabelle doesn't have a love story either, so that's okay. But I agree. It's a little bit of a weird situation that some of the choices they've made. They've kind of, Rapunzel's great, but it's another weird one that they're running into. But I'm glad they've got Judy. I'm glad they still have Pocahontas in a meet and greet in Animal Kingdom. I think that's been good. Everybody loves Moana. I'm glad that she's got it in a couple of places, but I think they could bring back Merida. I think they could bring back Vanellope, Joy from Inside Out. And I think Joy's moved to the other part of the courtyard.
Yeah.
But I just think there's some characters that they're missing meet and greets for.
Yeah. So that brings me to my number 1.
I think I can guess.
Yeah. I nearly lost my mind watching Starlight.
It's
Okay.
amazing.
Really?
Let me tell you that
It's
like
amazing.
it takes a lot at Disney to shock me. Like, you know, Disney just always does things over the top. This thing seemingly never ended. The music was spot on. The effects of the, like, because it's at night, like that whole thing with like Pinocchio and Geppetto in that leading one, the leading float there. I was like, honestly, like awestruck. My breath was taken away. It was one of those things that like I could see I was watching families too. I could see families like, but there was a mother in front of us who was filming her daughter's reaction while simultaneously watching it. And the reason I know she was filming, she had like this old school, Rob, you would have loved it. She was filming on an old school VHS, like old school VHS camera. Yeah. To like get the effects
cool
that you can only get with film. And crying. And rightfully, like there was nothing like, that's a little bit much. No, I 100% get that. Like it's an emotional experience, in my opinion, to see that particular parade. For families too, who have been in the parks all day long, like their kids staying up for the fireworks might not work, but they might be able to get to the 9 o'clock hour and see that first starlight. Here's the other thing. It's not like the parade, or it's not like the fireworks. There's nobody like really yelling at you where you're standing. You're okay to sit on the ground and watch it like a typical parade. You could camp out for the perfect spot, I suppose, but like you didn't need to. It's not loud bangs and booms like a firework where you're
I was just going to say that
where you're
you have a lot of
scaring
kids with sensory issues that
like,
don't want the explosions.
Yes, this
it's
was
perfect for those. Yeah.
Like I started thinking about all the boxes it checked, and I'm like, this is perfect. It's like for Orlando, right? It doesn't get dark enough really for it to be effective until about that 9 o'clock hour, at least in the summer. Maybe they could move it even earlier in other parts of the year. I don't know if they do. I don't think they do. I think it's a 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock always, but
it moved up when they had the fireworks earlier. So they do move it around the fireworks.
Yeah, it's an hour before the fireworks, right? And then an hour after the fireworks, I believe, right? It's just so beautiful. And the backdrop of Main Street, and like you're standing in front of the Emporium or in front of the confectionery or wherever. That's where we were.
It's even great in Frontierland.
Yeah. It is.
I watched it in Frontierland.
It's so amazing. And then that last nostalgic one comes through, right? And it's like, it's a throwback. It's the first one that really has any color, so to speak, into it. It kind of gives this feeling of like, am I watching the old school parade? For me, it just hit. It checks off so many boxes. I thought it was so well done. Rob told me I was going to love it. He was 100% right. It was amazing.
I knew you'd love it.
So that's my number one.
So I guess I am jaded because I've seen it so many times. So now I'm thinking, I mean, I put it on the list of things we were considering. And as you're talking, I'm like, why didn't it make my top 5? And I think it's just because now it's part of the parks for me. Because I've seen it, and because we've gone, and it's been around for a little bit. I love Festival of Fantasy, and I love the cavalcades. So, and one of the things I like about those two are the songs that have words. And Starlight has no words. It's all instrumental. And I think for me, I'm a sing-along kind of gal. I like to sing along with the parades. That may be one of the reasons why it doesn't hit for me the same way those other two parades hit. But I love it. I love Starlight. I've watched it a lot of times. If we're there, we try to watch it from different vantage points. And I think you're right. It's a great parade. It just doesn't quite make my top 5 of new things. And I'm just trying to decide why, because you're right. It's probably because it doesn't have lyrics. And that's a silly thing, but I like to sing along.
Yeah,
I can't sing along with it.
Yeah, and that's understandable. What I would say is there's also like for the kids, I'm looking at it from a family standpoint. Like I think it was the best addition, second to Geo82, but that's not eligible to my trip. So I really loved it. But yeah, that's kind of that's our list this week, folks. Rob, you have anything you want to add to any of that? Because you did see that.
Yeah, it's we figured out the other day, I was over at my folks' house and we did a little research through the old photo book and we figured out my first time was not the late 70s. My first time to Magic Kingdom was 1982 because it was the 10-year anniversary. We found all the old pictures and I said to my parents, well, 82, but Disney opened in 71. There was a year-long celebration, which they
like
always
their
do.
2.5 year long 70th or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So we were there in April of 82. My mom found a photo of me and her out in front of the train station, and it says the centennial celebration, and it has the date on there. And I would have seen that show, the Main Street Electrical Parade then. So for me, when I saw Starlight and that last train came around and I'm hearing the electrical parade music, which you really only hear at the end, it just brought back this wave of emotions of just this happiness from that long ago in my life. So the reason that one was so important to me was just that feeling that I had, that like happiness just came rushing back from when I was very young. And I would have put it very high on my list too, potentially at the top. So
yeah, we don't even really do fireworks anymore, honestly. And what I would say to you is that this is something I will do on every trip from now on. Like, it's that good. And maybe I will get to a point where I'm like Jessica and say, it's just part of the parks now. It's whatever.
Well, I mean, and it's amazing. I will just say, I just am trying to figure out why I didn't put it on the list. It is amazing. I'm not saying it's not amazing. I'm just saying I consider it part of the parks now, like the other parades.
Like the ground dancers. I turned to my wife. I was like, I almost break my ankle like every single time I'm walking down Main Street. These people are dancing, looking at each other in their eyes, and they're not even stepping in that. Like, how is that even possible?
Well, yeah.
So,
and the skirts are lit up with that. The way the skirts are neon and it looks like a waterfall.
Yeah, the wearable technology. I know it's probably just an Arduino or something that's like tied to their back, but whatever, it works well. So, guys, thank you so much for joining. Jessica, thank you so much for being here. Can you tell the listeners where they can find you, whether it be with Ear Scouts or Jessica Scraps? Give them all the details of where they can find you.
So if you're listening to this and you are a scrapbooker and you love to scrapbook, Jessica Scraps is on YouTube and Instagram. I'm also a member of the My Little Scrapbook Store design team. That's where you find me on Facebook, is the My Little Scrapbook Store. But then Ear Scouts, which is the podcast that I co-host, is Ear Scout Podcast, both on YouTube and all the places that you find a podcast, whether it is Apple or Spotify. You can find us there.
And we are lucky enough to call Jessica one of our patrons. She is our day one patron. She is patron number one. And so we would like to thank all of our patrons, as always, for being such strong supporters of the show. Without them, we really couldn't possibly be doing what we do every week. So thank you, Jessica, and thank you to all of our Patreon patrons. You can find us over on patreon.com/DizlessPod. But it's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow, and tomorrow's just a list away.
Tune in next time, and we'll see you real soon.